Hello everybody, and welcome to my channel. And I'm here to review Pro Wrestling Illustrated, the February 1997 issue. See if Mr. Perfect want to cover. So let's get to reviewing. See, first you got an ad for the ECW Hardcore Hotline. I never called this because I didn't get to see ECW live. I had to order tapes from it, so I never saw it live. But I would order some tapes from it. But yeah, I never called the ECW Hardcore Hotline. Table of contents. Between the Falls, where the fans, of course, write the magazine. Picture Shawn Michaels, and a picture of Tito Santana versus Bob Orton from the AWF Wrestling Federation. I remember flipping around my TV and I saw it. I was like, hey, because at that time I liked all wrestling, so I remember checking it out, but I only seen it a couple of times. It only came on a couple of times and it was gone. Ringside with Bill Apter, talking all the latest news. They was talking about when Bret Hart first came back to the WWF in '96 and how he said some comments about Shawn Michaels, some negative comments about Shawn Michaels. So then Shawn Michaels shot back at Bret. These two had, they just really had that believable, really think they really didn't like each other, which of course was true because they didn't like each other, but it really shone because they were like two good guys, but they were going back and forth with each other. Talks about Sting after the War Games, how all the WCW wrestlers didn't believe him that he was still true to WCW. So then Bill Apter was saying that he's showing signs that he might join the NWO. A picture of Hulk Hogan in the movie Santa with Muscles with Mila Kunis from that '70s show. I can't think of her name. What was her name on the '70s show? I cannot remember, but yeah, I'm just thinking, the girl Hulk Hogan and the girl from the '70s show. Talking about how the Smoking Guns might break up and how Billy wants Sonny as his manager. Because this was after she had teamed with him. I mean, she was their manager before. So they might break up and he still wants Sonny as his manager. And they talk about how Sandman, after Missy hired a woman, he was looking for a new woman valet manager to be his new woman valet manager. And Pro Wrestling Illustrated was helping and trying to. I don't know if this is real or this was just for the magazine because I don't remember hearing anything about them looking for a new manager for Sandman. But Pro Wrestling Illustrated was saying, the list that Sandman wants for his manager: must hate the smell of beer on my breath, but also be willing to kiss me when I need it. Must not yell at me or complain when I belch in the presence of classy company. Must not smoke and must despise the smell of cigarettes. Must be gorgeous, have a knockout body, and worship the ground I walk on. So those were his list. That was his list to be his new valet. So anyway, merchandise from the NWO. Buy the shirt, buy the shirt, buy the shirt. From the desk of Stu Sachs. Talks about Dean Malenko and how he's tired of everybody talking about the NWO. How, they need to talk about him and what the cruiserweight wrestlers are doing. In Focus, they talk about Wahoo McDaniel's retiring. And, it's funny, after Wahoo retired back in 1989 or 90 when he got beat up by the Destruction Crew and he had a detached retina in his eye. So I thought that's when he retired, but apparently he retired in '96. And they said in late '96, they said it wasn't, he was at the doctor's and the doctors told him he had a heart condition, so he needed to retire. So I thought Wahoo McDaniels had been retired, but apparently he retired in late '96. And then they talk about Pitbull Gary Wolf. at an incident about when Shane Douglas shook his halo, which I saw and I was like one of the craziest things I ever seen. Cause I to this day don't know if that was a work or not. About him really breaking his neck, I think it was real. And the way Shane shook that thing, I had never seen nothing like that. So even to this day, that still thing is like, what? I can't believe he did that. So and I guess it wasn't because if he really had his neck like that, they wouldn't allowed Shane to shake it, but. That was crazy. It was like the simple yet craziest thing I've ever seen. Off the top rope, and this is the debut of Brandy Makowitz. Because Eddie Allen had left, he just disappeared, I guess. And I know he was a real person. This Brandy, I don't know if she's a real person or not. They say that she's the niece of Matt Brock, who I know wasn't real, but they say she's real. So I don't know, but this is her debut. So I guess if this was a comic, this would be was it a first appearance? So like I said, I can't remember because I know she did. I don't know how long she lasts. I don't think she's still there, but this was her first debut doing the off the top ropes, and she just answered a lot of Eddie Eleanor's mail, and she was a big Gino Hernandez fan, so. She would I guess she would start every column with "Forever I am your champion." So, oh, I am your champion. So, the first appearance of Brandy Makowitz. Mark their words, Crawford and Furnace will be the number one in your ratings in 6 months. Now, these two, I didn't see them in Japan. I first, saw them in ECW actually, and I thought they were awesome. So, how they went to the WWF and just they just buried these guys was just crazy. I was more of a Doug Furnace fan than a Dan Crawford slash Phil LaFont fan, and I thought this team was going to be great. I was hoping they was going to join the Hart Foundation when they eventually came up, and I guess they were kind of associated with the Hart Foundation, but it was never full time. But yes, I love this tag team, and it's a shame they just didn't get bigger than they were. I mean, they were huge. I know they were big in Japan, but in the States, it's a shame they never got as big as they were. But in here, they said they would be number one in the ratings in 6 months, and unfortunately, that did not happen. This is an interview with Vince McMahon from AOL. So this is a real life interview where he was talking to, he was answering questions from America Online, and I think I actually might have saw that back in the day as it happened live. So they just reprinted the art. They just reprinted the thing for American Online. And when Vince says, I don't know what kind of skills Eric Bischoff has, although I must say that it does not take a genius to be able to spend zillions of dollars with with a multi-network backing to accomplish what WCW has currently accomplished. So Vince McMahon talked about WCW throwing all their money around, something that they would later on do and are still doing to this day. Randy Savage prepared to fight the NWO to the death. The WCW and the NWO are at war, and with every war comes casualties. In this titanic struggle, Randy Savage could be one of them, but he's not worried. His own well-being isn't nearly as important as that of WCW. So this was about basically Macho Man fighting the NWO every week and getting beat up and jumped every week. Yeah, like it was literally every week he was getting beat up and jumped. But like I said, he was the one man gang because like Sting had left, so he was always there fighting against the NWO until eventually he joined them, which still made no sense to me. But I mean, so many people joining NWO made no sense. But I guess it was successful, so they needed to keep it as long as they could. Mr. Perfect, Shawn Michaels stole my life. For 3 years, Kurt Hennig sat on the sidelines watching Shawn Michaels rise to the top of the WWF. It could have been me, he thought. It should have been me. Now he wants his life back. And this just basically talks about, how he helped Shawn Michaels. They was both all in the AWA together, and Shawn Perfect helped him out, and then like Perfect got hurt, then Shawn really rose up as Perfect was gone. So the thing I kind of wonder though is that in '96 when Perfect came back and he helped Triple H win the Intercontinental title, and then he left. He went to go to WCW. I just wonder in if he stayed in WWF, because WWF was low on talent. They really didn't have a lot of top guys with Nash and Hall leaving. Could he have won the title? Or maybe even a short run. I mean, I know physically he wasn't the same. The 1996, 97 Mr. Perfect was not the same as the 1990, 91, or 1987 Mr. Perfect. But he was still a name, and you just kind of wonder if he would have stayed with if he would have stayed with WWF, would he have at least gotten a run with the title? See those big what ifs. Because he wound up leaving. The nerve of you WWF. The new Razor and Diesel are an insult. One of the biggest stories of 1996 has turned into one of the biggest hoaxes of all time. Jim Ross must have been mad to pass this Persuado Diesel and Persuado Razor Ramon on the fans, and the WWF must have been mad for letting him get away with it. Yeah, once again, this was another stupid idea by the WWF. But it was just interesting that, you know, they did this during the whole Monday Night War, and it was like, you actually got Scott Hall and Kevin Nash in WCW, and are they coming back to WWF? I knew they wasn't, but it was just interesting to see this. Like when you look back, it was stupid. And actually, back then it was stupid, but it was still interesting because like, how is this stuff playing out? These times you never saw WWF mention another wrestling company before. I mean, they do it now all the time, but back then it was very rare. It was shocking to hear WWF mention another wrestling company, and them constantly mentioning WCW and mentioning people that weren't with the company anymore. It was an amazing time to be back then, to live through that. So, like I said, as bad as this idea was, it was still intriguing to see the fake. And the thing is, particularly the fake Razor, man, he looked nothing like Scott Hall. He wrestled nothing like Scott Hall. Just, just a horrible idea, but interesting though. I will say that. A close up of Sid Vicious. This is him coming. Yeah, this was in '96 when he came back after the Ultimate Warrior left or got suspended, whatever. And it says Sid's greatest match versus Jerry Lawler, July 16th, 1994. I guess that's when he beat Jerry Lawler for the USWA title. His favorite maneuver is the choke slam. His most hated opponent is Goldust, and his toughest opponent is Vader. Cause they got advertisements for this month in Wrestle America and Inside Wrestling. This is each month the WCW versus WWF war in ratings. Each month, Pro Wrestling Illustrated will take a close look at the latest developments in the WWF WCW wars. It's your chance to get a better handle on who's winning perhaps the most crucial battle in sports history. Yep, so this is they actually had the ratings for each shows for the certain months. So when they went head to head, so on October 7th, Raw's rating was 2.1 and Nitro was 3.5. On October 14th, Raw's rating was 1.8 and Nitro was 3.2. On October 21st, Raw's ratings was 2.6 and Nitro was 3.2. And on Raw, October 29th, on October 28th, Raw's rating was 2.0 and Nitro was 3.5. So this was definitely during the 83 weeks era that Bischoff has been talking about, which was deserved. I mean, because nobody beat WWF like that before or since. So Steel Cage talking about Elizabeth and how she was with, I think she was back with Ric Flair. I mean, she left Randy for Ric Flair, I think. And talking about how they didn't think the Kid was needed in the NWO. I guess he had just came there and they think he wasn't needed. But I was always a big fan of Six, X Pop, 123 Kid, Lightning Kid. I wasn't a fan of him as the Lightning Kid because he was just so skinny. I had never seen nothing like that. But his matches with Jerry Lynn and Global was really good. I ain't never seen no type of match like that. So I was a fan of those matches, but really didn't like him until he became the 123 Kid at WWF. Win, lose, or draw, talking about Dusty Rhodes and how they were saying how he was thinking of coming out of retirement to help WCW against the NWO, and how Lex Luger was scared for Dusty's health and he shouldn't do that. But eventually Dusty came and actually joined the NWO. Actually, special issues you gotta have, just back issues of the year-end awards and the PWI Top 500. Okay, the win, lose, or draw, still talking about Dusty coming out of retirement. Ads for Pro Wrestling Illustrated Weekly. The arena reports. People talking about the match that happened in their city. More special issues. The PWI hotline. Between the Falls. Fans, still continued talking about, fans writing in letters, and there's a fan talking about how great the Eliminators were and the credit they weren't getting. But yeah, the Eliminators were a great tag team. Continuation of the Dan Crawford, Doug Furnace story. Continuation of the fake Diesel, fake Razor story. Advertisement for this year-end review of Sports Pro Wrestling Illustrated. Continuation of the Vince McMahon press conference. Well, not press. Yeah, I guess press conference. This interview with America Online. The scouting report on Mankind, Hulk Hogan, Farouk, Chris Jericho, and Taz. The Pro Wrestling Illustrated ratings. The top 10 ratings. Number 1, WWF Champion Shawn Michaels. Number 2, WCW World Champ Hulk Hogan. Number 3, Intercontinental Champion Triple H. Number 4, Randy Savage. Number 5, Lex Luger. Number 6, The Undertaker. Number 7, the WCW Cruiserweight Champion Dean Malenko. Number 8, Sid Vicious. Number 9, Steve Austin. Number 10, Rey Mysterio Jr. The top 10 tag teams. Number 1, the WCW Tag Team Champions, The Outsiders, Scott Hall and Kevin Nash. Number 2, WWF Tag Team Champions, Owen Hart and Davey Boy Smith. Number 3, Harlem Heat. Number 4, the Godwins. Number 5, the ECW Tag Team Champions, the Gangsters. Number 6, Marcus Bagwell and Scotty Riggs. Number 7, the Eliminators. Number 8, the Grimm Twins. I think which were the Bruise Brothers, I think. Number 9, the Smoking Guns. And number 10, Barbarian and Ming. back issues for Pro Wrestling Illustrated. Wrestling Inquirer. Jarrett taking Flair's place in the Horseman, because this is when Jarrett was hurt, when Flair was hurt, and Jarrett came in, and I guess Deborah wanted him to be part of the Horseman, but everybody else wasn't so sure. And Flair wanted him to be a Horseman, and Deborah McMichael wanted him to be a Horseman. So, and the story of Bret Hart won't team with Shawn, and of course, like I said, they did not like each other, and like I said, it was very real, and it seemed very real. Realer than anything in wrestling, those two. Sabu signs with All Japan. Venomous wrestler targeting Jerry Lawler. I guess this was in USWA. Hot Shot. Pick of Bubba Ray Dudley throwing Spike Dudley onto Axel Rotten and Devon and Big Dick Dudley. Okay, once again, the Pro Wrestling Illustrated hotline. Okay, this has been a review of the February 1997 issue of Pro Wrestling Illustrated. Thanks for watching. Remember, if you like it, please like, comment, or subscribe. All right, thanks for watching.